right, well, you know what that sounder means. We're going to talk some ASU here. Real quick, just want to thank our listeners in Litchfield Park. Thank you to everybody out there in Litchfield Park. And if you're joining us on YouTube right now, you can check out the show, and you can certainly tune in right now because Matt Barrie, ESPN College Football studio host, is joining us, and you can see him actually on YouTube right now, joining us on the Arizona Sports Line. Matt, thank you so much for the time. What's going on?
How we doing? How's it going out there in Arizona? Everybody good?
Yeah, we're doing okay, man. Doing okay.
Let's just start with that game on Saturday. Your impressions on how Kenny Dillingham got this team ready to play and the bounce back effort after that loss to Utah the week before.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you kind of knew, you saw it coming. I mean, the performance in Utah was so out of character with what we saw a large part of last season when they started to wake up and go on that playoff run. I never thought ASU would get out physical the way that they did against Utah. So you knew it was coming. Knowing Kenny and the DNA of that program, I wasn't surprised that they came ready to play on Saturday, because when ASU is at its best, when they're playing at its best and in their highest intensity, and Sam's out there, they're still the best team in the Big 12. And they proved that Saturday. And until then, it was Texas Tech. I think BYU's got a legitimate argument. But when ASU is on all cylinders and everything's clicking, they're still the best team in the Big 12, and we saw it again Saturday.
Matty, do you think that Sam Leavitt has the possibility of going down as the greatest quarterback ever at ASU?
Hey, he's something special. I love watching Sam Leavitt play quarterback. I haven't loved watching an ASU quarterback play this much since Jake. I think there are a lot of similarities with him and Jake. And we've had some good ones. I mean, Taylor Kelly was a fun watch. Brock Osweiler was a fun watch. Rudy Carpenter was a fun watch. But there's just something special about Sam. And the way that he takes the team and the team follows him is all you need to know. And that 4th and 2 play, I'm just telling you, there's only one quarterback that could make that play, and he plays for us with the way that he did it. People don't understand how hard of a throw that is when you're rolling out of the pocket. Your momentum is on the run, and you have to drop it in a window while the guy's moving vertically with you. He placed it perfectly. Jordyn did the rest. And look, he's special. And, you know, he's going to go to the NFL whenever he wants. I'm just glad he's ours. And as long as he is, we're going to be in every single football game. Sam's a special, special player.
Talking to Matt Barrie. Matt, since we're talking about that play and you mentioned Jordyn, how about the other side of that? And Jordyn Tyson knowing where to go on that play, and Sam knowing where he's going to go. And, you know, Tyson was great last year. It feels like he's ratcheted it up a couple levels this year, which is kind of impressive considering where he was last year.
Yeah, Hines Ward got his hands on him, and Hines has worked with him for 2 years. And who better to develop a receiver than Hines Ward with the way that he's done it? Guys, find me a better quarterback receiver duo in the country. I mean, maybe Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. I mean, they would certainly be up in the conversation. But Sam and Jordyn, those two together, the biggest thing with a quarterback and a receiver is the chemistry off the field that manifests itself on the field. Well, what does that mean? Do they trust each other? And it's clear that they do. And to see that play and to see Jordyn be so smart to know what he had to do, those two guys, as long as they're healthy, and if Jordyn was healthy during the playoff last year, I'd love to see how far we went. But those two, to me, other than, like I said, maybe Julian and Jeremiah Smith, that's the best receiver quarterback duo in the country. And they're not done yet, because, guys, here's what's going on. And I love seeing this from a national standpoint, because I do it here at ESPN from a national standpoint. I know people were fired up about Mississippi State. Guys, that's the reality. Going on the road in the SEC, no matter what, at night is tough. We were one play away from winning that game. It happens. And then it was just every good team has a bad day. We just saw Miami get pushed around by Louisville. We just saw Ole Miss, a top 5 team, get beat against Georgia. It happens. Top 10 teams lose. It's college football. It's as crazy as it's ever been. Everything is still right in front of ASU. And as long as Jordyn's healthy, as long as Sam's healthy, the kid that I told anyone who would listen to Big 12 Media Days was going to shake this thing up, Raleek Brown, he's been doing it. Things are fine. Everything's fine. There's always panic. There's no reason to panic with this team.
Matty, if ASU is going to win the Big 12, where do they need to get better?
Red zone offense is absolutely going to kill them at some point. I think they're in the low 40 percentile with the touchdown rate. And it drives me nuts. And I know it drives Kenny nuts. And I know it drives Arroyo nuts. I mean, it would watching it. That's going to get them at some point. And they're lucky it didn't get them Saturday. So red zone offense, you have to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
In the Big 12, you have to finish the drive. Thank God we've got a field goal kicker this year because he's been making all this kicks. Jesus has been brilliant. I mean, I was worried when they got in the red zone on that last possession. I mean, really, he almost didn't get in. He needed a swath of humanity to get him in. But you have to get better in the red zone because now we're coming down the stretch. Houston's a pesky team. Iowa State's got a good brand. You got Colorado. You've got Arizona. You need to have this put together because at the end of the day, if you don't score touchdowns, you're not going to win games.
We're talking to Matt Barrie. Matt, we talked to you last year towards the end of the season, and everybody was fired up with how that season went and all the great things ASU did. And you said something that has stuck with me for basically 12 months now. You have to see how they follow it up because ASU has had really good years in the past, but then haven't been able to follow it up. I know we're still in this season, but how do you feel about how they're following it up right now?
Yeah, look, again, Utah, that was an aberration. That was an outlier. Throw it out. That's not who this team is, and Sam wasn't there. That's nothing against Jeff Sims. It's just Sam wasn't there. And I've been to too many SEC games to not be surprised by what happened at Mississippi State. So to answer the question, ASU was following this up the way they should. Should they have been defeated? I mean, again, Utah, no, they wouldn't. We're going to win at Utah unless Sam was there. We don't know how that would have went. But I think ASU is following it up the way that they should. It's funny because from a national perspective, the sky fell. I mean, ASU was hovering around the top 12 in the rankings. They lose at Mississippi State. Everybody forgets about them. They lose to Utah, and then everybody writes them off. And I'm sitting there going, well, wait a second. This sounds a lot like last year, right? You lose a couple of games. People are just writing ASU off, and then they go on a run, and they make their way to the Big 12 championship game and then ultimately the college football playoff. So everything that they've set for a goal is right there. Now they need some help. Cincinnati's a really good team. They haven't lost in conference. BYU's a really good team. They haven't lost in conference. BYU took care of the Utah loss for us because they beat them over the weekend and knocked Utah out of the picture, and Texas Tech beat Utah, so that's a done thing. So they're following it up the way that they need to. They're recruiting at a high level. I know there were a ton of recruits there this weekend. They're selling out Sun Devil Stadium, or I forget the name of it now. Forgive me, but it's Sun Devil Stadium. So they need to keep that up. And they have, and I'd say the encore presentation to this point, just past the midway form, has been exactly what we saw coming, and I'm excited to see it.
So, Matty, Kenny Dillingham is 6-1 against ranked teams in the last 2 years. How hard is it going to be for ASU to hold on to this guy?
I would say hard if he wasn't from Scottsdale and he wasn't a Sun Devil. He makes, I think he's upwards of about $8 million. Which goes a long way in Arizona. He's living next to his family. He's one of us. And I've said that a lot. Like people, I said it going into when Herm was fired and we needed a new coach. I said, you need to find someone who understands what it's like to be the head coach at Arizona State. Well, what does that mean? Someone who went there, who grew up in the Valley. It's a tough place. You've got pro sports teams.
Yeah.
You've got other stuff going on. You have beautiful weather. And that's why his Activate the Valley slogan is so great, because he understands that if and when you do, it's a special place. And also, I'll just be frank with you guys. Florida, for example, James Franklin was at Penn State for 12 years. Florida's hired and fired 3 coaches in the time that James Franklin was at Penn State. If Auburn gets rid of Hugh Freeze, this guy was the can't-miss guy when they brought him in, and they're ready to kick him to the curb. Mike Norvell, they're ready to kick. It's not always, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You need to be at a place that you understand and can win. Kenny, if he wants to, can be the modern day Frank Kush.
Yep.
He could win at Arizona State every year. Guys, I'm being serious when I say this. If he stays at Arizona State, which I ultimately believe he will because he's one of us, they can win the Big 12 every year. And what do you want to do? You want to win conference championships. You want to play in the college football playoff. Where better place to do that than at home? Don't get caught up in this garbage that's out there where you're going to get questioned every single day and every single press conference. I know this from my good friend Dan Mullen, who was at Florida. That guy went to 3 straight New Year's 6 games, double-digit wins, got fired in the 4th year because they started off slow. He's having the time of his life at UNLV because the cauldron of the pressure is off and he can just coach. You take that with Kenny in a Power 4 conference at his alma mater. I don't think it's a risk. I really, really don't believe it's a flight risk.
Matt Barrie, it's always great talking to you, man. Thank you.
You guys are the best. Anytime, you know that.
Nice.
Right on, man. Always
good. That's Matt Barrie joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line with SportsCenter set in the background too. So this is the
cool.
Drive the Point Home. Gave the fork. Hopefully everybody's watching on YouTube, and still a lot more now ahead of this football team this season. But I'm glad we got to talk to him about, he was the guy who said last year, this is great. Let's see how they follow it up now, because that's the key. And right now, it's pretty good follow-up on Saturday.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.